Hi, this is Brendan from Watto Training, and in this tutorial we're going to take a look at Caloundra Teaching Tips Part 1. This is Victoria Terrace in Caloundra. This is a good example of the multiple traffic signs and road markings that a driver needs to be wary of when negotiating the environment. We've got warning signs, we've got regulatory signs, we've got pedestrian crossings, for example. So first of all, let's take a look at the warning signs. Warning signs warn drivers about merging lanes or added lanes, narrowing of the road, corners or changes in the direction of the road, highway and motorway entry and exits, crossings on the road for pedestrians, farm animals or wildlife, roundabouts, stops or giveways, changes to the road's surface or condition, for example, road humps, unsealed roads, rain, hail or ice, or falling rocks. Let's take a look at the next slide. Warning signs let you know that the road changes are coming up on your drive. These can be permanent or temporary traffic hazards and obstacles. And down in the bottom left of screen, an unbroken yellow curb line is a no stopping line. There's quite a few of those around near the Kings Beach area. Now let's take a look at the change in the road direction ahead. So here's another scenario in Caloundra. These warning signs let you know the road is going to change direction, as seen at the top left of screen with the blue arrow. You should drive with caution within the speed limit and follow the conditions of the road. Change in the road direction ahead signs can show drivers how the road they are on will curve, have a sharp turn or wind for a distance, have an approaching intersection or change in traffic direction, have a steep descent, dip, crest or incline, narrow because of a bridge, have a lane merging or starting, or have a recommended exiting speed due to the road direction. Drive to the right of hazard. These signs tell you that you are coming up to a hazard, such as an abrupt narrowing of the road or a road obstruction that you will need to drive right to avoid. So we can see the blue arrow pointing to that signage there. So the driver needs to scan ahead in the road environment and take information that is presented to them to make good decisions about how to safely negotiate the road environment. Moving on from that, we've got a concept known as the limit point. What is the limit point? It's the farthest point along a road to which you have a clear and uninterrupted view of the road surface. One of the key principles of driver training is that your eyes go first. And if we take a look at the red car in the diagram, as they look through that line of sight through that corner, the orange car has just gone out of view. So before that red car comes around the corner, they've got to make sure that the driver's eyes scan to the right, just in case someone comes around that corner onto the wrong side of the road, they can take evasive action. Let's take a look at some of the 40 zones in the area. So here we have along the Golden Beach area a high activity zone where we have cyclists, we have elderly people, we have children, etc. Lots of walkers and exercise going on in that area. So drivers need to be wary of the speed, not just because of the obeying of the speed limit, but because at a lower speed it's easier for them to spot hazards and take evasive action and lower their stopping distance. Regulatory signs inform you of traffic laws and regulations. They tell you what you as a Queensland road user must do by law in different situations where it may not be otherwise obvious. Area speed zone signs. The speed limit area sign shows you the speed limit you must travel within the zoned area. A speed limited area is a network of local roads with these signs placed at the entry and the exit of the area. The end speed limit area sign lets you know when you have left the speed limited area and the default speed limit applies. We can also see that the road has 40 signs marked on it to also give that information to drivers. We have a lot of tourists around the area and a lot of concealed driveways based on the cars as to where they're parked. Let's take a look at the road hump sign. We can see in the middle of screen there a yellow arrow pointing to the sign we're referring to with a suggested speed of 20 kilometers per hour. The actual speed limit in the area is 40. We can see that in the sign on the left and also painted on the road as we head towards the speed humps and then around that sharp bender to the right. This sign lets you know you are approaching a speed bump. A speed bump is an obstacle used to make vehicles reduce their speed on the road. Pedestrian crossings. When approaching a pedestrian crossing, you should drive at a speed that allows you to slow down and stop for the crossing. This one is along the Golden Beach area. There's lots of cafes on the left, and you can see that the trees have given a lot of shadowing to the left as well, so a driver needs to scan. Also, the black Honda on the right obscures the driver's vision, so we need to lean and look past that black vehicle to be sure that a smaller person, such as a child, is not coming along towards the pedestrian crossing. Pedestrian crossings are usually marked by white parallel stripes on the road. They can also have a yellow sign showing a pair of legs. It's a little obscured, but it is on the left side of the screen. Pedestrian crossings are also called zebra crossings. Some pedestrian crossings have signs warning you that you're approaching a crossing. At a pedestrian crossing, you must give way to pedestrians crossing. You must not overtake a vehicle that's stopping or has stopped to give way to the pedestrians who are crossing. You must not drive onto the crossing if the road ahead is blocked. Left turns. The technique for taking a left turn is as follows. Check the mirrors inside and out. Check their blind spot by looking over their shoulder. Indicate left for at least 3 seconds before starting to turn. Check the intersection for hazards. Slow the vehicle for the turn using appropriate gears. Keep the vehicle in the correct position throughout the turn, no less than 1 meter and no more than 2 meters from the curb. Give way to pedestrians and vehicles if required. Drive at an appropriate speed throughout the turn. Check the mirrors again on completing the turn, and after finishing the turn, accelerate to an appropriate speed for the traffic flow. Continuous edge lines. Edge lines mark the edge of the road. The area to the left of the edge line is called the shoulder of the road and is not an extra lane for vehicles to travel. Cyclists may travel on the road shoulder. You must not cross the continuous white line at the edge of the road unless you are overtaking to the left of a vehicle that is turning right or making a U-turn, driving a slow-moving vehicle to allow other vehicles to overtake or pass. You can cross a continuous white edge line and travel for up to 100 meters when you are entering or leaving a single lane road, turning at an intersection from a single lane road, stopping at the side of a road unless signs or markings say not to. Roundabouts. A roundabout is an intersection with an island at its center in which traffic circulates in a clockwise direction. When approaching a roundabout, you must give way to all vehicles already on the roundabout. On-road bike lanes. These lanes are dedicated to bike riders, and the green surface improves traction when riding in wet conditions. It is not compulsory to ride in these lanes. Motorists must stay wider of bicycle riders by giving a minimum of 1 meter when passing a bicycle rider in a 60 km per hour or less speed zone, or 1.5 meters where the speed limit is over 60 kilometers per hour. Passing a bicycle rider means that you, as a motorist, and the bicycle rider are traveling in the same direction. This includes when you are traveling side by side in separate lanes on a multi-lane road. It does not apply if you are traveling in opposite directions. The passing distance is measured from the rightmost part of the bicycle or the person on the bicycle to the leftmost part of the vehicle or something sticking out from the vehicle. Example, a side mirror. The minimum passing distance applies even if the bicycle rider is riding around an obstacle, such as the cars that are coming up on the left. Giving way to buses. When you are driving in a built-up area and the speed limit is 70 kilometers per hour or less, you must give way to a bus that displays a give way to buses sign on its back right-hand side and is signaling to enter traffic from a bus zone, bus stop or bus stop bay, the shoulder of the road, or the left side of the road. Remember to take special care around school buses, especially when their yellow lights are flashing. Watch out for children who may run across the road from in front or behind the bus. Buses, like all other vehicles, are required to indicate for 5 seconds before moving off from a parked position, which includes a bus stop. This particular one is over in the Pelican Waters area. Okay, painted arrows and give way signs. Let's take a look at the painted arrows first. On the road, we can see one to the left and one to the right. Painted arrows show you which direction you can take in a lane. When the arrows show more than one direction, you can go in any of those directions. On the left, we have a give way sign, a really important principle to cover off. Okay, painted arrows, you must always indicate when you're turning, even when there's a painted arrow. Giving way means to slow down and, if necessary, stop in order to prevent a crash from happening. You must always give way at a give way sign and check if it's safe to continue. Give way signs are placed at intersections and other places where other vehicles have priority. When do I need to give way? You need to give way if the rules say that you must. There's a give way or stop sign. There are stop or give way lines on the road. You're turning right across the path of an oncoming vehicle at an intersection. You're turning left or right at a T-section. You're moving onto a road from a driveway or land next to a road. You're moving off from being stopped on the side of the road. You're doing a U-turn. You're turning left at an intersection with a left turn on red after stopping sign. Stop signs and stop lines, continuous line, are used at intersections to control traffic. When you come to a stop sign, you must stop completely before reaching the stop line and as close as possible to the line. Where there is no stop line, stop before reaching and as close as possible to the intersection. A stop sign or a stop line means you must give way to all vehicles traveling in, entering, or approaching the intersection, whether vehicles are turning left or right or going straight ahead. You must give way to any pedestrians crossing the road into which you are turning. Giving way at a stop sign means the driver must remain stationary until it is safe to proceed. Drivers must give way to pedestrians crossing the road into which their vehicles are turning. You must also give way to pedestrians if there is a danger of colliding with them, even if there is no marked pedestrian crossing. Single continuous lines. We can see the lighthouse up ahead on the right as a reference point. You can cross a single continuous center line to enter or leave a road, including entering or leaving a property and to safely pass bicycle riders. You cannot cross a single continuous center line to overtake or do a U-turn. Let's take a look at the Slow for Sam signs. The speed awareness monitors, known as SAM, aim to change motorist behavior and reduce speeding in our suburbs. If you are traveling at or below the speed limit, you will receive a smiley face from SAM to thank you for doing the right thing. SAM displays a slow down message if you are speeding to remind you to reduce your speed and drive safely. So this is around in the Pelican Waters area. I didn't have the Sunshine Coast information, but as a reference point, this is Brisbane information. Since the program was launched in November 2013, motorists have reduced their speed by an average of more than 8 kilometres per hour across all sites. There are currently more than 170 monitors in place across Brisbane. Now I'm just going to present a couple of diagrams from the Caloundra Department of Transport Customer Service Centre, where C-Class licensing starts and finishes. So this is the parking bay underneath the car park at the Caloundra Transport Department, and the signage tells us that the driver is to reverse in and it is reserved for driving tests. This is the exit and entry from the car park down the ramp out towards the road. You can see up the top of the screen there is a mirror that the driver needs to slow down and look in the mirror to make sure it's all clear before they go around to the right. Thanks for watching. This has been Brendan from Watto Training.